First Things First is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
With everything going on for Mike McCarthy, he had to make sure everyone knew that wasn't coming from him. Right. He needs no more headlines on this eve of Halloween. Good morning. Welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolf alongside Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wilds. We're festive. That's music playing, right? I think I hear that in my ear, although I've been hearing music in my ear for 3 years now. We got a great show for you coming up today. 2 jam-packed hours getting you ready for a fantastic weekend of football. And let us start with the marquee matchup of the weekend. The 5-1 Ravens hosting the 6-0 Steelers. Surprisingly, the first head-to-head matchup between Big Ben and Lamar Jackson. What's on the line? Oh, I don't know. How about first place in a crowded AFC North? Brandon Marshall, my friend, we hand the reins over to you. Take us through the keys to the game. How do the Ravens take down the league's last undefeated team?
So are you guys messing with me? We're back with the Jets jersey. What happened to the Bears jersey? Put the Dolphins jersey. What are you guys doing right now?
We've got jersey integrity,
Jets jersey. You did
I say Jets jersey,
I got a lot
Brandon?
to say.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, you did.
All right, look, listen. So you guys know that I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers to make it to the Super Bowl and lose to the Seattle Seahawks. So this is a big game for our boys. But for the Baltimore Ravens to get a win, here are the keys to their success. Starting with Lamar Jackson in this offense. Lamar Jackson has to be 75% completing his passes with 0 interceptions. Last year, Nick, 3 interceptions. He had accuracy issues, and he struggled reading coverage. So it starts with Lamar Jackson. Number 2, what these wide receivers have to do, they have to get yak. Do you know what yak is? I'm sure you do. Yards after the catch. I need 100 yards after the catch because this defense do a phenomenal job of eliminating the big play. So we need to see slants and bubbles going for 15 yards, 20 yards, hell, taking it the distance. That's the way you're going to win this game. Because look what they did last week versus the Tennessee Titans and Derrick Henry stopping the run. This is what you do well. They're going to take that out. So you guys, if you want to win this game, you have to be efficient and you have to be really good in the passing game with yards after the catch. And the last thing, going to the defensive side, these guys thrive in chaos. They throw so many complex blitzes and disguises at you. So what you have to do is confuse Big Ben and not yourself, because the way they play defense sometimes backfire on them and they give up the big play. And Big Ben will expose you if you give him the opportunity. So this week, super simple. Those 3 things: Lamar Jackson, 75% throwing in the air, 0 interceptions, 100 yards yak, and confuse Big Ben and not yourself.
It's great. All right, so I find all this really interesting, Brandon, and I think the Lamar stuff is probably the biggest key to this game, because an underrated storyline this season is quite simply Lamar's regressed from last year, particularly throwing outside the numbers where he's had no success whatsoever. But what I find most interesting about your keys is you usually approach the keys from a what the underdog must do to upset the favored team perspective. I don't think the Ravens are the underdog in this game. And not only are they not the Vegas underdog, I don't think they, even on a neutral field necessarily, would be the underdog. Baltimore has flown under the radar entirely this season. It's as if people watched them on national television get beat up by the Chiefs and they just wrote them off. The problem is, aside from that Chiefs game, not only have they won every game, aside from that Chiefs game, they have had 17-point fourth quarter leads in every game. Now, Philly came back in garbage time. It wasn't quite garbage time. Philly came back to make it a game ostensibly late. But Baltimore has annihilated its competition. Its defense, I believe, is better than last year. Its running game is nearly as good as last year. So why are they not being discussed as much? The answer, I think, is because Lamar's yards per game are down. His yards per attempt are down. his completion percentage is down, his passer rating is down, and he isn't having the wow plays through the air that he had last season to go along with the consistent wow plays with his legs and Wilds. That, to me, is going to be potentially the deciding factor of this game. Nobody can run on Pittsburgh. Derrick Henry couldn't run on Pittsburgh. No. Nobody can run on Pittsburgh. And Mark Ingram's banged up a bit. Is Lamar going to be able to take advantage of the fact they don't have Devin Bush out there in the middle calling signals for him and beat a team through the air, which honestly he hasn't done or hasn't had to do since week 1 this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think people are underrating or properly rating, I would argue, the Ravens because where's the big win? Where's the big win that I'm pointing to that I'm like, the Ravens, they're so good. They had the chance against the Chiefs and they blew it. And we all watched that big Eagles comeback. So I'm not impressed with a win over Washington or Cincinnati or Texans who end up firing their coach. So I'm not a believer in the Ravens.
Browns win's pretty
Brandon,
good.
The question for you, the what win?
No, it's average.
The Browns win week 1. That's a pretty, I mean, they annihilated a team that's 5-1 since. But I think Wilds, no, Wilds, I'm not trying to undercut you. I think what the problem there is, it happened before you knew the Browns were a good team. I think it was week 1, you didn't know what the Browns were going to be. And so beating the Browns 38-6 in week 1, it feels different if it's later.
Wilds, I'm with you. Wilds, I'm with you. Yeah, what win, Browns? Are you seriously? So what's your question?
We got a lot more to go on this game. Go ahead.
No, go, Jenna.
All right, I'm going to take
look,
it. We got a lot more to discuss on this game right here. I'm going to take it from you now, Brent. Okay. All right, awkward. Here we go. Julio Jones, big game last night. I want to get to this before we break. He helped the Falcons beat Carolina. 7 catches, 137 yards from him. And to boot, this little gem of a quote. Listen up.
You think you're still the best wide receiver in the National Football League?
Absolutely, I think I'm the best. I mean, no doubt about it. Just the way I go out, and handle my business, and, week in and week out. I was injured early on in the season, but, I mean, you'll see, just keep watching.
Julio Jones clearly still working on his confidence. Brandon, you in or out on Julio being the best wide receiver in the NFL?
Come on, don't put me in this spot. Hey, I got to do life with these wide receivers. We got a little community going. Don't put me in this spot, Jenna. Look, last night when I turned on the game, first quarter, opening up, they went to Julio twice, back-to-back. And I was like, wow, this dude is still amazing. He's still getting it done at a high level. That deep outcut, the way he sunk his hips at the top of the route, I said, wow, this dude is still phenomenal. But right now, Julio, I'm out on this one, buddy. I love you. I think you're a dog, but your team isn't winning at the rate you guys should be. So I got to go with DeAndre Hopkins and DK Metcalf. 1A, 1B. Nick, don't ask me who's A and don't ask me who's B.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Somebody send this to Julio. Brandon Marshall says he's not even top 2.
As good as Julio is for the Falcons, still just win number 2 on the year. Cam Newton's Patriots also only 2 wins. Wait till you hear what Cam had to say about how important a win on Sunday is for New England. Still to come. First things first.